Welcome to this video series about improvising by Sietze de Vries. You can support this video series by donating the amount of your choice to Sietze de Vries' Patreon account, which can be found by searching Sietze de Vries Patreon or by finding the link in the description below the video. Enjoy the video.
So, I'm still at the wonderful Schnitger organ in Uithuizen in the province of Groningen. And there is actually one more thing we can definitely do really nicely on this organ, because it's the typical North German Schnitger organ. It has a very nice Hauptwerk Rückpositiv, but also a big pedal with everything in it, including a mixture and reeds 16, 8 and 2. And that's actually all original, the reeds, and that's quite spectacular, of course, in an old organ from 1700. And if we have the full pedal, you actually have a very impressive sound. That's also why Schnitger didn't build pedal couplers, because you don't need them in an organ like this. The pedal is completely independent, and it actually brings a lot when you have a pedal like this, because normally when you have to use pedal couplers you always have this kind of unclear sound, because the pedal is always interfering with the left hand here. And also the amount of force that you have on the pedal is of course larger than what you do on the manuals, but this force that you have with your feet is actually brought to the manuals with a pedal coupler. So also for the tracker action of the organ it's more safe and better to not have pedal couplers. And of course the only inconvenience is that you have to use more stops. You have to change it more often, but that's something you get used to very easily. And that's basically the same as having the stops of the Rückpositiv in the Rückpositiv like here. That's also something you get used to very quickly. Well, let's use this pedal for a variation on the old hundredth that we are working on in double pedal. And we've done that before. But then we just used the right foot for the melody, left foot for the bass line and having chords here. And we are going to do basically the same thing, but now I want to use the rhythm that Georg Böhm used in his Freu, dich, sehr, meine Seele, which is Psalm 42 actually, from the Genevan Psalter. And it's very nice to see what he does there actually, because he uses the melody in the tenor, but it's in the manuals only, so he uses it like this. And so on. And that's actually strange, because you have to imagine that Böhm was the organist in Lüneburg on a really beautiful big North German organ, although that's not entirely true. It has kind of the same history as the organ of the Martinikerk Groningen. It started its life as a Dutch Renaissance organ, which you can clearly see in the organ case in Lüneburg, and then two big pedal towers in North German style were added. And those pedal towers, of course, tells us something. I mean, Böhm wanted to use the pedal, obviously, and he actually worked very hard for a long time to get an organ builder to build those pedal towers. So in the end, a student of Schnitger made them, and he probably used the pedal all the time. So sometimes you have to look not only at what is in the score, but you have to use some creativity and think what could the composer have done. And in this case, the Freu, dich, sehr, meine Seele sounds way better when you actually use double pedal, so that you end up with something like this. That's of course a way more impressive sound and actually not that hard to play. Once you get the hang of it, double pedal sounds really grand and difficult, but actually it is not that difficult at all. So let's apply this idea with the rhythm on our old hundredth. And first we have to analyze what Böhm does exactly. The rhythm is actually that he starts with the melody note, so the right foot, which is a nice idea because then you have a clear idea where the melody is. Then he has an upbeat with the chord, and the chord is always together with the left foot. And then on the next beat you have a chord together with the melody. So the beginning, and I will use the old hundredth now, the beginning would be like this. So always that upbeat and then the chord, but it would be boring to do it all the time. So we actually have two nice tricks from Böhm that we can steal and use in our own improvisation. The first trick is that at the end of the line, it's not only upbeat and a chord, but you go on in that rhythm. So you have the pom pom, and then you can just go on pom pom, ta-tom pom, pom pom, something in the same rhythm. And he has this wonderful idea, after every two lines he has a special ending. It's actually kind of a ritornello. And in Böhm's case it is this very nice idea that sounds like this. And that's really why you remember that piece, because that set of chords, especially that very festive ending with the cadence at the end, is really nice to use. So let's see if we can make this idea work on the old hundredth.